Today we're going to be talking about units. As I said in yesterday's video, I'm planning to go a lot more defensive on my units, especially the augmentations. So if we look over here, you can see that I have completed all three pieces of my Trailblazer. And what you may have also noticed is that I have 1675 HP unbuffed. So let me just show you the breakdown over here of character information. And you can see that I have a ton of HP, as well as decent defenses, 15% resistance to light, and 15% resistance to dark. So by investing so much into defense, did I have to sacrifice a lot of power? I actually didn't, because my melee power was always on the lower end. It was always like, 3,800. It was always below 4,000. So even with this huge increase of HP as well as defensive stats, I was still able to maintain my melee power at around the same amount of power as it was before. However, the reason for that is simply because I'm using the Trailblazer units. So if we look at the Trailblazer units over here, if you go to the second page, you'll notice right here, attack. You see that this unit by itself gives me 135 melee power, 100 range power, and 100 tech power. And this is my back piece. If we look at my arms piece, this gives me 155 melee power, 110 range power, and 110 tech power. And if we look at my legs, it's 130 power, 85 range, 85 tech. So at the very beginning, this tab over here confused the heck out of me, because I looked at it, I was like, wait a second, why is it different? And after looking deeper into it, I realized it's because of your augments over here. So you can see over here that the Trailblazer legs, right? I have plus 80 melee power over here, plus 195 HP. So this 80 melee power is actually tacked on over here, because the Trailblazer units just by themselves gives you 50 all attack per piece. And because I have 80 melee power over here, plus 50 equals 130 melee power. And that's why it gives you 130 over here. While if I look at my arms piece, this gives me 155 melee power, simply because I have 105 melee power over here, plus 50, so that's 155. And last but not least is my back piece, which gives me 135 melee power, simply because I have 85 melee power over here, plus 50 equals 135. So just because of the Trailblazer units, unaugmented gives me 150 power flat across the board, which is extremely nice, which was why I was able to mess around with my augments and focus a lot more on defensive stats. So you can see over here that my back piece, I decided to roll with Might 4, Stamina 4, Alisti Soul, Doombreak 2, and Graceful Stamina. And thus I was able to get decent HP, but not sacrifice all of my power. So my bottom line was I wanted at least 80 melee power, but I also wanted at least 100 HP per piece, just so that I have a little bit more buffer, especially on ultra hard, so I can survive a hit or two. Now in today's video, I'm not going to show you step by step how I made each unit. However, I know some of you guys are super curious about what recipe I used, and I'll show you that on my second monitor right now. So I personally still use the Affix simulator, mainly because I'm just familiar with this, but it's perfectly fine to use the simulator or the assistant, depending on whatever you're comfortable with. There's no right way or wrong way here, okay? And the main one I want you to pay attention is Fodder 1. So this is my old Offs unit. So you can see it had Might 4, it had Quartz Soul, Arcs Max, Arcs Fever, and Junk A. The reason it's Junk A was because this was a capsule. I believe I had Noble Might over here because I augmented this way back in the day. Alright. And so because I had these stats over here, I wanted to build off this. This was basically my foundation. And then so I looked at all the different stats that I wanted. I was like, alright, I have Might 4, so I need 2 copies of Might 4 in order to guarantee that. Then I saw I had a Quartz Soul, so I was like, oh, I could upgrade that to a D Soul. So I needed Historia Soul, so I matched that up. And these two stats were basically my foundation. Then I was like, do I really want to keep Arcs Max or Arcs Fever? And I decided against it, which means I freed up 2 slots. So I looked around and I was like, okay, what stats do I actually want? And I decided that, hey, Stamina 4 is nice because I just want to be more tanky, I want more HP, and Deus Factor was also very nice because Deus Factor gives me 20 melee power and is very inexpensive right now. And so I decided to go with this. So some of you guys may be asking, Carol, why didn't you go with the 6 slot? And the main reason for that is budgeting, because going 6 slots is extremely expensive versus 5 slots. With 5 slots, the entire cost of doing all of this, including buying the capsule of Graceful Stamina, which is HP and PP/3, this cost me around 10 million to do everything here. And so I had to do it across 3 separate pieces, but do keep in mind pieces 2 and pieces 3 over here were a little bit more expensive because I had to add Doombreak 2. And the reason why I added Doombreak 2 on the second piece was because I had it already existing on my current piece. So I just needed one more copy in order to get that extra damage. And so I was like, alright, I'll splurge a little bit and do that. And so the second piece cost more like 15 to 16 million. And this piece, the third piece, cost the most, mainly because I had to buy 2 separate pieces of Doombreak 2, and each piece of Doombreak 2 with 5 slots right now is like almost 6 million. So just these 2 pieces alone is like 12 million right here. And so hopefully now you guys understand that budgeting is very, very important. It's very easy to be like, oh, I just want one piece with 6 slots and, you know, max that out. And then when I get money, I'll work on the second piece and then the third piece, so forth and so on. But I personally prefer to do all 3 pieces at once at a slightly lower budget, do everything, get it out of the way, and then just use them until I get more Meseta in order to do my next big upgrade. So now since I have 3 new units, you'll notice that they don't have ring abilities on it, and you can see here I've got Mate Maniac as well as Atomizer Fanatic and Leaping Dodge. So I used to hate Leaping Dodge because I had to put it on my hotbar. It was just, it felt really clunky to me. However, with the recent bosses, especially with Persona, I've realized as a melee class, getting elevation is very, very important. It's costing me a lot of DPS when I have to double jump and then I have to dash in and then deal a little bit of damage and I fall down again. And so I've decided to invest into Leaping Dodge. I need to get this ring to plus 20 before I can use it, and I'll explain why on my second monitor. So if you see over here, this is the Arc's Visiphone. You can go to their wiki and you can go to skill rings and you'll see right here Leaping Dodge. You can see over here that the cooldown for this ability will be reduced the higher the level it is. So at the moment my ring is only level 1, which means I can only use the vertical jump every 100 seconds. However, at level 20 the cooldown is 5 seconds. So this is a huge deal. Being able to jump every 5 seconds is very, very important. So I'm going to need to level up my ring to level 20 in order to maximize this. And so I recommend if you are planning to put skill rings into your units, make sure to come to this website and read what you gain from leveling up the ring. A good example over here is the Atomizer Fanatic. Depending on your playstyle and what you want this ring for, you may want to save a little bit of materials and not get it to level 20. The reason I say that is because I personally use this ring for 2 things. 1, prevents damage from attacks during the time, so whenever I use a revive it counts as an iframe. And the second thing I use it for is the action speed, in order to cast it a lot faster, in order to revive my teammates a lot faster. However, you can see over here as you increase the level of this ring, the only main difference that happens is you'll recover more HP for your teammates. So depending on my financial situation, if I'm really poor, then I might hold off on upgrading this specific ring because I need to upgrade other things. However, eventually it will be more beneficial for my teammates if I do get it to max level. So you can see over here that my Leaping Dodge ring is only level 1 because I literally just crafted it. However, in order to level it up, it will need to gain experience. And in order for a ring to gain experience, you have to equip the ring and go kill stuff. When you go kill a lot of things, your ring will gain experience passively and level up. Then you don't need to worry about it. So for me, I'm going to throw that into storage and I'm going to equip that on my hero and let her deal with it. But for now, I'm going to be putting Mate Maniac as well as Atomizer Fanatic over here. So in order to add your skill abilities onto your units is very, very simple. You're just going to talk to Monica and right here, add unit skill. You're going to click on that and you can click on whatever piece you want. So for me, I'll be the back piece, sure. And then you can just click on whatever ability you want and it'll tell you right here what you gain. You see, if I put in Mate Maniac, I'll gain Mate Recovery plus 120%, as well as Mate Utilization Speed 160%. So it'll be much faster and heal more. While if I use the Atomizer Fanatic over here, it'll recover 125%, as well as the Utilization Speed 200%. So for me, I'm going to put the Mate Maniac on the back piece first. So over here, it's just going to tell you that it will consume 1 Lambda Grinder. So you're just going to say yes and done. Now do keep in mind there is a downside for attaching a ring onto it, and that makes the piece untradeable. You will no longer be able to put this on the market. You can see over here, transactions cannot be made due to the following features in use. I've got a add unit skill on it, which is why I'm not able to sell it. While if I look over here at the arms Trailblazer, you know, I have not attached anything to it, so I can put this on the market. All right. So on the arms piece, I'm going to put in my Atomizer Fanatic and boom. All right, done. So you can see that these 2 pieces over here with the little ring picture now have a little X on it saying that you can't sell this. while my leg piece over here, since it does not have a ring unit, can still be sold. And once that's done, you can put your rings back into your storage or wherever you want. You can still use the rings, they're perfectly fine. So it's in your best interest to level up rings that you commonly use. That way you can just slot it into whatever units you want, because you can reuse this as many times as you want. Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome, for the heals, the boosts, the res.